Well, hello investors and traders, I'm L.A. Little and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets. We do it from a neoclassical perspective each time, asking ourselves, what happened today? What does it tell us about the coming days? We do a show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday. It's broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube under the channel L.A. Little. As far as what happened today, pushes up. Market works its way higher. You had that weakness come into Euro land finally. They've been pushing for a while. We'll take a quick look at those to see if there's anything there. But across the board here in the U.S., the Russell was the weakest of the group, but even it managed 0.5%. You had 1% elsewhere. Pretty good, solid moves across the board here. And there's really nothing to feel bad about. Last night we were thinking the market would probably work higher, and work higher it did right across the board. Silver and gold, silver up 0.5%, gold up 1/3%. Oil couldn't get going again, down 1/4, well actually 0.4%. So some rotation in the gold in particular. We actually had extensions, and we're starting to set up ABCD structures on the way up. Let's take a look at these charts because we actually had some good action in the charts today. And I'm actually going to start with the sectors, because what you saw today, the financials leading this market higher this morning, started to pull back. We got a bad ISM number. Some manufacturing not looking so hot again. That's been the case for a while. But this does get over the B point on an ABCD structure, a bullish one to the top side. It's going to target that particular high, right? It's going to try to run up. We can do the math here and see what the number is. Looks like 2380 to the top here is 24, so about a buck. Put a buck on the base, 25.29. So it's going to run up into the 25.25 area or so. And if you take it and pull it back here, put it on a weekly, you actually, that move, if it happens, right, it's going to get it over on the weekly as well and press for a larger ABCD structure that will get it back over the highs. So financials, big weighting in the S&P 500. They got it going today. They're going to try to break above this B point on a weekly, and that would be kind of a big deal if it happens. Elsewhere on the tech side, you actually had a continuation on the semiconductors. Semiconductors doing their ABCD structure. They've just about completed it. That got them over these two highs. So the semiconductors have been putting the juice into the NASDAQ, and ABCD structures on the way up. It keeps completing them and then setting up new ones. Since we just saw that ABCD structure fulfill on the daily, I would expect some sort of a small pullback into this area, right? And then this thing to try to actually project up to the top. So if you're looking for a sector that's hot, the semiconductors is one. You want to catch it on some sort of a retrace off that daily chart. Those two sectors, big weighting, third of the weighting, mostly a third of the weighting in the stocks on the NDX 100. Financials, one of the largest two weightings, technology being the other in the S&P 500. And speaking of that, let's swing over and take a look at the S&P. So remember last night we were looking at this and saying, hey, you know, I didn't think anything much about the little pullback yesterday. We were in a range trade up here. Well, that range trade is starting to peek its head out over the top. And you're just getting the little peak here. It's going after this high. You got a swing point high sitting there. And so a break of that, of course, is going to get another leg up. And that is potentially another ABCD structure forming here. And you got them all over the place trying to form ABCD structures. If you get just a little bit higher, you know, another day follow through here, I think you're going to get it going to the top side. And if you pull this one back, put it on a weekly, it's going to go after that high again. Now, the biggest thing to me on this particular chart is not whether it makes highs or not. It's does it get over this breakdown bar and hold it. It tested it once already here, right? Can it get over it and hold it? Because if it does, it's going to work its way higher. large ABCD structure if in fact it can do that, and that structure points up to the 2180 area, and so you got a long way to go if this thing can get going. 21. I'm looking at the numbers here right quick. I don't think I said that right. Let's find that out together. 1871 to 2116. So that's 240 points, and put that onto here. That gets you up to 2290. So that is a huge projection to the upside. 2290. Of course, this is on a weekly. It's going to take a long time if it does that, but nevertheless, the projection is large, and it would be a big move up if it gets over this breakdown bar. So to me, that's the thing to watch. Can you get over to hold it? If you do, I think these swing point highs are probably going to fall, and there's two of them up there. Russell. Last night we talked about the Russell. It was the only one that had a decent pullback, but as I told you, it was hitting the highs with volume. That thing did flip around and go back up there and test it tonight. The high yesterday was 1204.87. You close it at 1204.16. You got over it. You didn't quite get to the high. It's going to try to get to it tomorrow and get over it. It also trying to continue this breakout over the swing point high. If we go over to the NASDAQ, now the NASDAQ hasn't made new highs yet. If we pull this back and look at it, that high is 52.32 roughly, and you're sitting at 51.56. So you got another 80 points to get over the high. But just like the S&P, the NASDAQ's trying to put in an ABCD structure higher. It doesn't project nearly as far, but it is not a small projection, right? And so we've got, a key level here to breach. If you can do that, then this swing point high, you take it out. You can start thinking about a projection up here. But more importantly, what that does is it confirms the breakout that had already taken place over here on the NDX 4 weeks ago. You got the breakout, you got the pullback. Now you're getting the push back the other way. And this one also trying to set up an ABCD structure to the top side. So, across the board, whether you're looking at the sectors, you're looking at the indexes, it's positive, and it continues to be positive. And hopefully you're viewing it that way, because that is the way it's printing. You're getting buyers willing to step up at higher and higher prices. That is what it means on a neoclassical perspective to actually have a sustainable move, and a sustainable move we are getting. We're getting at the same time, and we'll look at the currency next, we're getting a pullback in the dollar today. We talked about that last night, saying that, or actually, I don't know if it was last night or Sunday, talking about that it was going to try to pull back. The high, this is the DAX, the high yesterday was 11,430.87. You got to 11,430.38, so you didn't get to the high. So you didn't press the high with volume, but you cut under the low with volume. That suggests to me that this thing is going to try to pull back a little bit more into the ECB announcement come Thursday morning. DAX, the CAX couldn't get over the highs. Does a little bit more volume, but it looks like it's an inside day, so really nothing to tell you there. If we look over at Asia was kind of a strange trade 2 nights ago. You got big volume on some of these. Here's the Nikkei pulls back, and then they reverse it today and go back the other way. If you look at Taiwan, it was the same thing. Huge drop, big volume, and then you flip it around, you go right back to where you came from. As I said last night, I don't know what to make of what was happening there overnight, but it didn't look well, it looked kind of strange, because it was kind of an anomaly that took place, so I don't know what it was. As far as the Shanghai does squeeze a little bit higher, but this one's struggling. I do think with that reversal, you're probably going to get some continuation to the top side. So overseas, euro is the issue, if there is one. As I've been saying the last couple nights, we're at a point now where you've had enough push in the European markets that you could get a pullback and still, have a decent setup to go even higher. And that pullback would probably come on a stronger euro. Stronger euro is going to be a weaker dollar, and that is what you finally saw today. You saw the dollar start back the other way, and you saw some rotation into the emerging markets, and a little bit, not a lot, emerging markets, and then also into the Asian markets in general. Here's that FXE popping up. I don't think it's going to go all that far, but it certainly can get a decent bounce as the dollar flattens out up here on its way towards the highs. If that does continue, especially if it continues on whatever happens out of the ECB, you can expect the commodities are going to catch a bid. You saw it starting today. If you look over at the gold miners got a nice pop up today as a result, and I suspect you're going to see some continuation there. The thing we haven't seen yet is any kind of change in the oil market. If that's going to happen, that's probably going to come off the OPEC meeting, which is on Friday. So that kind of gives you a good wrap of what's taking place. The only other thing I would mention here is the bonds got a good bid today. I got a nice spike up on the long end of the curve. Of course, that was off the ISM number that printed under 50. It was like 47 something. And, now everybody's saying, is the Fed really going to raise rates or not? And that market, the equity markets, are back into that mode of all news is good news. We've seen that over and over throughout the years. If they don't raise rates, well, that's fine. We're going to have easy money still. If they do raise rates, that's telling us everything's fine as well. So party on, folks. That's it for tonight. As far as tomorrow, I got to think it's going to try to continue again. I don't see anything to stop it yet. You got the ECB. It's got its squeeze going at the end of the day here. It looks to me like these markets are going to grind a little bit higher in front of the news. That's it. Have a great one. Thanks for joining me. Tell a friend, tell two. I'm LA. This is and was your daily NeoTA wrap. Have a great night. I'll see you next time. Good night.